l'invitation d'être ici aujourd'hui. Je pense que les enjeux que nous discuterons ce seront très importants pour façonner l'avenir du secteur, le secteur métallurgique, mais aussi tous les secteurs industriels, toute l'économie québécoise et canadienne. I'm going to continue in English because my presentation may take 2 hours if I continue in French. So please bear with me. I'm heading up the Canada's Advanced Manufacturing Supercluster. This is as you're probably aware, the Canadian government, federal government, as well as a number of provincial governments have invested in an initiative. It's an experiment to first of all connect the manufacturers, technology companies across Canada, with the expectation that by connecting manufacturers and technology companies, not only to accelerate the adoption of technology in manufacturing, but also to accelerate the scale-up of technology for applications in manufacturing and for manufacturing and manufacturability for production itself, we can really grow both technology and manufacturing sectors in a really exponential way. And so I'm very fortunate to follow Mia and Louis here, because many of the objectives of what we're trying to achieve are very much based on the challenges that both sectors face. But I think it's important, first of all, to position the challenges around Industry 4.0, the challenges around advanced technology, and the challenges around skills in a global context. It's not only manufacturing and technology sectors that are facing tremendous challenges in acquiring the skills or finding the skills, developing the skills to deal with new technology. This is a global problem, and it's a problem that faces every sector of this economy as well. So our ability to focus on application, and our ability to focus on collaboration across an ecosystem that includes technology and manufacturing companies, but also the services sector, which is so important in supporting both in a technological way in engineering and software, in logistics, but also in many of the other business services that are so important to manufacturing. This is an economy-wide challenge. What we're trying to do is also a little unique. I guess the best way to describe this is to think of the innovation value chain as a train. It's the end user and the solutions for the end user that is the engine that is driving the train, and followed, of course, by services and goods, manufacturing, materials, technology, research, and education. Our traditional approach has been to supercharge the caboose and then wonder why the train doesn't move. We put a tremendous amount of effort in education and research and technology and startups, but we need to ensure that we have the demand from the end customer translated through services and manufacturing. And it's that solution that needs to drive the priorities, I think, in both education, in training, and in research much more effectively than we have before. So what we're looking at doing is building on many of the advantages that we have in Canada. World-class technology sectors, startup ecosystems that have been recognized as world-class, tremendously diversified, very, very advanced manufacturing sector. That is, on the other hand, full of small companies. This is it's a strength as well as a challenge for many of the manufacturing sectors in Canada. But we do have already a very highly skilled workforce, one that is going to be, many of them are going to be retiring. How do we combine all of these strengths, all of these assets, in order to achieve the exponential growth, the productivity growth that both Mia and Louis referred to, that is going to ensure that we have a competitive but also a world-class manufacturing sector in the country. That's the challenge of the supercluster, and we're going to do three things. We're going to focus on projects, on funding projects. We're leveraging over $1 billion of public and private sector investment to invest in projects that are truly transformative. Projects that not only accelerate the adoption of technology to transform existing industrial processes, but projects that will help rapidly scale up new technologies for full manufacturing, or for full manufacturability here in Canada. I'll give you two examples of projects, and one I know is very close to the heart of Francois. It's a project that is being led by ArcelorMittal Dofasco in Hamilton. And the project is to digitize hot ladle steel production. Now, I have to say, I'm an economist. I apologize for that. But when I say hot ladle steel production, all of the engineers and the technicians and most of the people in the room, say, oh, that must be very neat. But the best explanation of this project is that Dofasco has a team of people who have worked in the company for 40 years who can look over a vat of molten steel and tell when it's ready to pour. And they're retiring. And what do you do? And that's why it's important to digitize the process, to put in place the technology that will allow that quality of decision-making to continue and to ensure that that's based on scientific data. Another project that we have underway is a project to connect and to develop accelerated systems for materials characterization, powder characterization, and testing for metal additive technologies. And I think this is an exciting project because the opportunity is to build a base to accelerate that process and then to provide that base for other applications throughout manufacturing here in Canada. Both of these projects are transformative. Both of them, I think, provide a platform for growing both manufacturing, but of course providing opportunities for technology companies across Canada to take part in these projects. I mean, Louis and Mia have said much of this. Only for me to say that today, where the business requirements of manufacturing really point out that the failure to adopt many of these technologies to gain the benefits of these technologies would put manufacturing here in Canada significantly behind other manufacturers around the world, a point that Louis has made already. But it's the opportunity, it's the ability to create new types of customer value through new products and new processes, through better services as a result of the types of digitization, the new materials technologies and the production technologies that are really revolutionizing the entire business of manufacturing. What we want to do is focus on connecting and strengthening collaboration across the ecosystem. I hate that word, but it's connecting manufacturers and technology companies, researchers, academic institutions, training organizations, business networks. And this is far more effectively done here in Quebec than it is in other parts of the country. But often our unofficial motto for what we're doing is who knew? Qui le connaît? Who knows what the strengths of our technology sector are, or our manufacturing sector are, because we don't communicate enough. So building a capabilities database, helping to build collaboration across existing business networks, across companies, across organizations is tremendously important. As I said, we're going to be supporting transformative industry-led projects. We're going to spend a lot of time helping or developing programs that to assist smaller companies manage the adoption and the productive use of technology better. And I'll speak about that in a minute. A part of that is just building awareness about assets are available, what other companies are doing, what other resources are available across Canada. And as I said, we have $1 billion of industry investment that we've identified, commitments, priorities on the part of industry to invest in projects. I think if we look across the country, we could probably find another $2.5–3 billion of commitment for industry investment in new transformative projects based on advanced technology. That's the priority that I think can be very powerful in aligning training requirements, research requirements, funding requirements, and I think this is an opportunity for industry to really be able to show what the priorities are on a go-forward basis. I won't spend much time, but I do want to just say a few things about skills in a new digital age of manufacturing. The first is, I think we're at an inflection point. The technologies are developing today so rapidly, far faster than our ability to manage and in some cases even understand the technologies. And that means I think we should take a look at how that is also disrupting our education and training systems. It certainly puts a much more of a focus on management. Only 5% of manufacturers across Canada do any competitive benchmarking. That means 95% are working in the dark. While over 80% of manufacturers say that they can't find skilled people, only 6% actually have in-house training programs dealing with digital technologies. So these are, and on top of that, 35% of companies say that when they do invest in technology, they're unable to achieve their business objective, which is a management issue. These are important issues. In many cases, I have more faith in the next generation than in the current generation to get to the types of technology and the types of technology applications that we need to grow manufacturing. So these are extremely important, but I think the other part of it is how do we integrate education systems, training systems much more effectively for application, for problem solving within manufacturing. So these are, and also with respect to the development of new technology for manufacturability. So these are the priorities that we're going to be focusing on, particularly around skills in our supercluster. Just I'll leave you with this. While the supercluster is based originally in southern Ontario, membership in the supercluster will be open to any company across Canada to make applications for collaborative projects that will really transform the manufacturing sector. Our objective is to position manufacturing as a world leader in advanced technology in Canada. So the ability to make applications for projects will be open. The ability to participate in projects is open to anyone in the network. And the ability to learn, to share best practice is really what it's all about. We want to support existing networks of best practice. And so very pleased to be here and especially to meet many of the companies and many of the networks that are represented here today. Merci.